Hey guys, welcome to the Greenhouse Podcast.
where we share stories, ideas, and just have some good talks with a variety of people with different backgrounds.
So thanks for joining us, and let's get into it.
Okay, so this is where we'll start.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Episode 1.
Episode 1. Bear with us, guys. You know, it's our first episode where I feel like we're starting to understand a little more podcast-wise and what we want this to entail and what we want to talk about. We had a few practice rounds.
Yeah, we went super like structured, which was in a sense kind of good because we got to kind of see what we value about the podcast medium and what we wanted to do with this thing. But then it almost became too structured, so we're like, no, let's erase it and just kind of
Yeah, I don't think
do something simple.
you know, obviously this is a new creative journey that we're taking. And I don't know, I feel like now with projects, especially moving forward, like I think we want to put a lot of attention to detail in everything that we do and have some sort of meaning behind it. And yeah, we felt like the whole is structured well as it may work for some other people, but just for us and our vision and what we saw for it, like it was a little too structured for us and how we wanted to feel and just the whole overall vibe of the podcast and what we talk about and how we engage with our guests and stuff. And yeah, but I think it's gonna be good.
It's a little different too because obviously there's our first podcast. This is Matt. This is Mike. we run a video production company, which is C3 Productions here in LA. We're by no means like a big Hollywood production company. We've kind of started from honestly like super small roots, but me and Mike believe that we have a passion for telling stories and having beautiful visuals and moments in what we do and how we talk and communicate with people, which is why we thought like this medium's a little out of left field honestly for us. We don't really we're not like kind of like super nitpicky on audio to I don't know, on like a crazy way, but I think we saw how different this platform could be as far as like expressing ideas and just having good conversations. So
Yeah, ideas are honestly even just in the creative field overall. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be something that is eventually gonna help us in the long run, even even when we are working on other projects or working on another film or something. I feel that this is just gonna be another creative outlet to kind of get those ideas out there and talk about them,
Yeah.
or honestly, maybe even us having a conversation brings up like an improvement that we could do within our workflow, within our creativity, even visually. I mean, usually like we have on a normal podcast, you know, there's camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, but we kind of wanted it to even take an even more different approach and be a little even more creative, even on the visual side, and which is why we kind of have you guys over there off by yourself, but like in a way.
if you're not if you're not watching the video, there's the camera angle's like right in the corner.
Yeah.
We're not even like crazy lit or
No,
anything.
I mean,
like
I think the lighting looks pretty good. I mean, it was still intentional in the way we kind of chose to light it. You know, obviously we could put up a light and add a little more light, but I think this is the vibe that we kind of want to go for. Essentially, the way I see it personally, like, and a lot of the things that I've been doing in my work a lot is essentially creating an environment that when people see it, they hopefully feel that they can be within that environment with us, you know, all the way down, like, I don't know, and maybe in a way, like, I don't know how to explain it, like, in a way, you're kind of watching it from the outside. I also kind of think about it as, like, people watching. Like the
Yeah.
camera angle is not like crazy movements or transitions where it feels like you're just watching a put together video.
Yeah.
Whereas something as so simple as just one camera angle, that's kind of
Actually, that gives me an idea. Well, first of all, I think that's super
yeah,
cool because I think that's how you naturally kind of
yeah,
eavesdrop
yeah,
or just see how people's reaction. Me and Mike have always like had this realization when we're out and it's like all these friends and they all like have these histories with each other and we're just like, dude, everybody has their own circle. Like everyone has their own people that they
hmm
hang out with and that they've like had their all their backstories, but like we're all here in this moment at the same
hmm
time. But it's like everyone has that one guy as with that like certain characteristic, and then I don't know. It's just as much as we're different, we're also all pretty
hmm
similar. So I think like this, I don't know. Our intention with this is for it to feel like you guys are here with us, but also kind of saying it from like the third
yeah,
person.
exactly. hmm
Yeah, but that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. It's weird though, but I don't know. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome, and I think we're gonna have some really, really good conversations and interactions. Not only with each other, but with with our guests and the people that we bring on. I'm pretty excited for that. I'm pretty excited
Yeah.
to dive a little deeper on the creative process of multiple different things. You know, whether you're an artist, entrepreneur, a musician, a bassist, guitarist, like literally anything. I think creativity can go into a lot of different things.
Yeah.
If anything, everything.
I definitely think everything. With this podcast, we're naturally filmmakers, and there's so many amazing like filmmaking podcasts and resources everywhere. And we didn't go into this with trying to let's be different than what's out there, but more like hey let's be true to who we are as filmmakers. And the honest truth is like we felt inspired to start this podcast because we naturally had like I feel like pretty awesome interactions with our clients, with our peers,
hmm
with just people that we look up to, and if anything, we kind of just feel like that needs to be captured, and that doesn't always mean like that's in a creative, doesn't always mean it's in like a activist. Honestly, it's in everyday
hmm
people. It's in the businessman that maybe has the most boring job, but like to them, that's their life, and they obviously feel like strongly about that. Like I'm sure there's like beautiful creative things that uh that go through what they
hmm
do, but it's maybe not like mainstream or something
Yeah.
like that. So we want to be able to have those conversations here
Yeah.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I kind of want to. I think with this first podcast, obviously, you guys now have an idea what we're trying to do. To be honest, we're also not going into this like feeling like we have to put on a show, I guess, but more of like we just want to have honest conversations. So it may change,
yeah.
depending on things you want to talk about. But I think for this first thing, kind of just want to get people to get to know us, but also too, we've just been talking about where our business is
Yeah.
lately, and some profound, I guess, revelations about us growing as filmmakers. So just to give people an idea of who we are, I guess, Mike, now we're doing
Oh
an
my
interview.
god, I'm on the spot now.
No, but I mean, I've known Mike for years. Shoot, dude, I don't even know, what was that, like 2012?
20,
Yeah,
yeah, 2012. Yeah,
2011 or something like
2012.
that. Just had graduated high school and met Mike, and he's my best friend. But Mike, I guess like tell people like how'd you describe yourself? Where do you come from? What are you about?
Um, I guess I guess as a creative, right? As a filmmaker.
Y- As a filmmaker or
Uh,
whatever, like how do you like
so,
identify yourself?
actually, to be honest, like back then, years ago, like I probably would have never thought I'd be like sitting here pursuing this kind of career or business. But yeah, cause I was always interested in like healthcare. You know, I think a lot of people are interested in healthcare, but specifically being a physical therapist. I don't know. It was always something that I was interested in and was curious about doing. And also, I think part of that drive too was a little bit of like from my personal life. So like I kind of felt the need to kind of I guess want to help people, but I think being like a filmmaker like has always kind of been a part of me. I used to always make these little stop motion videos with my toys and you
Yeah,
know, and like so I think it's
bro.
always kind of been a part of me.
If you think about it, like stop motion is one of the hardest ways to start filmmaking because you go
I
frame
don't
by frame.
even.
And I feel like you as a kid, you're just like, honestly, dude, fuck
Yeah,
this.
I'm
Like,
just gonna
but
use my
like,
imagination.
but
Yeah,
if you love it and you love the
you know, and
process,
so
that's
like
cool.
I was always big on like I guess using my imagination or creating these scenes or visuals in my head that once I started to like as I got older and like I was going to school and majoring in kinesiology and pursuing all that. But I don't know, like something kind of just called me to the camera. I don't know, I can't explain it to where I was just like, you know what? And I was watching a lot of like YouTube videos at the time and following some of my favorite creators and I'm just like, dude, that's so awesome. Like I know I could do that. And then I started with like a GoPro, like just shooting all
Hell
these
yeah.
GoPro videos and
Wait. What did you use for your stop motion though when you were a kid? Do you
oh
remember?
dude,
Was
like
it like the
an
camcorder?
old like razor flip phone
Oh,
or
flip phone.
something. I forgot what it was, but it was a phone where
That's cool.
you could pause and stop, pause and stop, pause and stop.
Huh.
So like I'd record, pause it, record, pause it.
Do you think the people who made that ever ever thought that that phone would be used like
No,
that?
no, dude, it was a long time ago. It was when I was like
Yeah,
in middle school. I was maybe like
that's awesome.
13.
But your first like actual like I guess appropriate camera was. I mean, I think GoPros are
Yeah.
awesome.
So I started filming on like GoPros and I was essentially creating content just to create content. I was literally, anytime I could carry my GoPro with me, I would take it with me and just shoot something, even if it's as
Yeah,
simple as going to get breakfast, you know?
yeah.
And yeah, and actually, I will say this, I don't know if I ever told you, but I think you were the one that kind of enabled me to kind of take that next step with my filmmaking
Uh-huh.
because actually you were the first one to kind of like really like hey man, like you're actually pretty good at this, you know,
Oh, awesome.
like let's talk. And I think like
Yeah,
we were always close, but I think there was like a small moment where we didn't really talk like every day necessarily, but like we
yeah,
kind of reconnected with that and then shot my first wedding with you.
yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember it was I think it was a trip that you had to San Diego. I think that was it.
Yeah, I think so.
And I remember there was some night shots, and I remember like, um, I didn't know that much about filmmaking, even though I was going to school for it. But I didn't actually see like original creations from people or people that I knew. So, but when I saw that, I was like, hey, actually, like, I don't know if you tried to do color grading or if it was just honestly probably was like composition and just like your eye for lines and I don't know the editing. I remember I was like, dude, night shots are kind of hard to do, but you nailed it. I remember I was like, I don't know. Mike may have like a natural knack for
Yeah.
this, and it was
And
cool that
then
you jumped on it.
I bought my first camera, which was a GH4.
Oh yeah,
Shot my first
GH4.
wedding with you,
Yeah,
and from there on, the rest is history. And now, like, this is what I want to do, and now we're here with two pretty successful businesses. Even though we're not, like Matt mentioned, we're not this crazy production company, but I feel like we have a lot to offer for who we are, um, and to see how much has grown and where we are, and just the fact that we get to come into work every day and work for ourselves, and now we're kind of starting to go through the creative journey of just creating our own content and stuff.
yeah,
But I would say growing off of that, like personally in the stage that I'm at right now with like filmmaking and my own personal creative journey outside of the business, which also translate to the business because I'm sure you could tell in some of the work that we've been doing. But I've been just really, really attracted to the simpleness of like filmmaking or capturing a moment. And like I was just stuck on the idea of a moment. Like just a moment in time, just pretty much just watching it unveil in front of your eyes, like whether it's a good situation or a bad situation. And And I had a moment where I was just like there thinking, and I was actually, it was one of the times too where we had went up and we went up on the mountain and we were just watching the view, and I was just there really just listening and watching like what's kind of happening around me, and watching what's kind of happening in my life, and like the fact that I was kind of having a moment with you guys, and my life is separate from everyone, and then also like you just look down the road and like there's another group of people that they're having their own moment and their own little
Yeah.
story and their own little lives, and like there's another thing happening over here and another moment happening, another moment happening. So like in a way I view these moments as like visuals and like
Mm.
a little side story. Like everyone has their
Mm.
own story. Everyone comes and grows from something,
Yeah.
And yeah, and I just been getting really, really fixated on that. But we actually kind of dove deeper into the reason why. I think because right now at this point in my life, I feel like I've been having these great moments throughout my life that like I don't know that I've kind of I think because like my life it was in a situation where obviously I was having these moments in my life, but like as I kind of started to grow and learn and be a little more intentional with my life and the people in my life and thinking about it in that way, like I'm having a moment with like all these people that I'm closest to, and like they're great, they're amazing, and like yeah, and I just been kind of stuck on that, and I think that's kind of and then also like I said, like just it being super super simple, just the beauty of it, and like essentially creating an environment like just a moment in time in my life that like I guess I'm sharing with the world to see like my friends, family, whoever, but like trying to create an environment where where the viewer feels like they're there with me, essentially like this, like to make them feel like they're there with me, and like whether that not just like overlaying music on top of a video, crazy transition, crazy camera movement or whatever. Like,
Right. Right.
we all
Right.
kind of went through that phase, and like that's cool. And like those videos are amazing. Some people do
Mhm.
amazing things, but I don't know, just being more still, being more patient, just watching the beauty within it.
It's kind of crazy how like your art and your craft can totally like change with
Hmm.
you. Not even like as you get older and you get better at it and as you find your voice, but honestly like your voice from day to day. I think that's like the really cool thing, like what we do like has honestly like meaning
Hmm.
and intent behind it. I know it sounds super like millennial
Yeah,
or
yeah.
super like, oh, like look at you, like you're such a, I don't know, you know yourself, you're woke or whatever. But it's like, to be honest, like I think we are in a position because of what our families or what our parents have gone through and just the time that we live in now, that we kind of are liberated a little bit to pursue art or to pursue what we have
Hmm.
passion in, but also like not neglect the business side of it. But I mean, it's just I feel like I don't know. We're very lucky with how we get to share our ideas because I mean the truth is not everything can you really tell that there's any heart behind things or receive a story from
Hmm.
behind things like different types of businesses or even honestly even different art mediums. I feel like movies, there's a reason why you can get people to sit down for 2 hours out of their busy day, especially here in LA, sit down and just get lost in a movie or get lost in an image. And I think like we're very much about, yeah, let's do that. There's a place to be flashy, but at the core of it, like you said, there's just a moment happening, and maybe just like slow down and just be in that
Yeah.
moment, realize that everything is there for the reason that it
Hmm.
is. And I don't know, just kind of just being able to feel
Yeah.
that and allowing yourself to fully like, I don't know, experience
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. And
It sounds like, dude, it sounds so like, I know it sounds like super, super deep, but when you really take a look at it, I think we all desire to reflect on life like that, to be
yeah.
honest. That's the reason
Hmm.
why we watch movies. That's the reason why we pull out a camera, take a photo, take a video. We don't get much in this world, the honest truth. A lot of the stuff isn't going to matter, the flashiest this or that. it's gonna be these moments. Like if every memory, imagine if every memory you had like since your beginning was actually recorded in your brain, you can replay it. You probably
Yeah,
would.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, the great thing is that we have these cameras, but we have to be selective
yeah,
with it. But at least we can capture and re-experience and live things. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think we're at that point where we're kind of rediscovering the wonder and the joy and the simplicity in that.
yeah. Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
but that's where I'm at as a creative, as a filmmaker. That's what I'm being drawn to. I've been having a lot of good moments in my life, some good, some bad, but I allow myself to learn and grow from every situation. And I kind of just been on that mode and just, yeah, just picking and choosing which moments I want to capture. Um, I am being a little stingy on some of the moments that are happening in my life. I rather keep that to myself and whoever I was sharing that moment with. But yeah, I just kind of want to start documenting that and just, like I said, just creating an environment like all the way down to if there's people in the background, you can slightly hear their voices in conversation. Or if I'm at the beach, you hear the ocean, you hear bird. You know, very very detailed oriented and kind of like I said, just creating that environment and I feel like I'm pretty good with with visuals. I feel like that's my strong suit. I know how to do that, and so yeah, I'm just trying to just practice my skill and take this creative journey because I think this is like I think this moment in time and this creative journey that I'm taking and the content I'm putting out, like I feel like it's so different from all my past stuff. Like I feel like it's very very stripped down, but at least to me it feels like I'm starting to come out even more as a filmmaker. Like I'm
Hmm.
starting to see that who what it means to have like Mike the filmmaker like show his work. So yeah, I mean, it's been cool and that's where I'm at right
That's
now.
awesome, bro.
But
No, that's awesome, bro.
but yeah, I mean, what about you, man? I mean, obviously like you said, you already nailed it on the head where we've been friends for a lot of years and got a lot of history. We met at our first job, both our first jobs actually, but
Yeah.
it's been growing since there. But obviously, I know you, but maybe you could tell your story a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, sorry. On that note, when I met Mike, we were both gonna go interview at this warehouse in Pomona. We were gonna work at the LA
I already
Fair,
know what you're gonna
and I remember
say.
coming in. I would like, and I remember the guy that was in front of me that I was with. Like, we were pretty much dressed the same. We're like, all right, yeah, it's just whatever job, and this fool is in like the nicest, like the nicest getup I've ever seen anyone. Not even just to like apply for a job, but I was almost like, did he just come from a graduation or something? But he was just so nice. I was like, damn, this guy's gonna get the job. It's not gonna be me. But they ended up hiring both of
Yeah.
us, and really quickly, I don't know if we just went for it. We were just weird around each other. We just had good talks, had a lot of common interests. Just kind of hit it off. But honestly, bro, I never saw you as, to be honest, like creative. I knew you had good taste in music for
Yeah.
sure, and good taste in clothing. You had diamonds in your ears, but it's cool. You know, that was in at the time. But it's been really cool to be able to do this business
Yeah.
with you. Honestly, I didn't even know I was gonna do this. I guess I mean some of my backstory is I guess I've had opportunities to make films and to create art
Hmm.
before, but I always felt like I was gonna do something with music. Music is like a man, like the I think honestly, as much as I'm a filmmaker, if I were to lose my sight or my hearing, I honestly probably would choose my sight. And it's kind of crazy to say that because I wouldn't be able to see my wife. I wouldn't be able to see life. But there's something when music hits me, or like especially in a film, like you said, the art, the sound design, the composing, and then just how things just are. I don't know. It moves me to tears all the time. So I thought I was gonna do something with music, but once I got into, I did, like I said, I did some stuff on the side, but it was really
Hmm.
small, basic stuff with friends. But I had fun. I enjoyed it. And then once I went to college, I remember I was like, shoot, dude, I got to apply with like what I want to do. I was like, can I just apply, just figure out what I want to do later? And I started with music. I pulled out. This is all before I even started
Oh, I didn't
college.
even know that.
I I, I almost canceled it, and then I changed my degree. I was like, I need to make sure I make money. That's like the most important thing. So I did it to business, and literally like 2 weeks before classes were gonna start, I remember feeling like I was growing an ulcer, dude. Like I felt so stressed out. I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. I don't know. And then I remember just scrolling through the thing, and I was like, what do I want to study? Honestly, I have no idea. And it was kind of funny that I landed on. It was called radio, television, film. I went to Cal State Fullerton. Go Titans. and and I was just like, whatever. I mean, it sounds fun. And I think like that had a big indication. Like it just felt natural. I wasn't thinking about it too much. Honestly, I didn't even really consider it, but I went with what I felt comfortable
Mhm.
with. And ironically, it allowed me to be uncomfortable and to stretch and to grow. I don't know what I was doing in film school. Honestly, I didn't even really pick up a camera until like my third year. And then I remember essentially I was asked to, my sister was like, hey, she just got married and she was like, do you think you can re-edit my wedding video? And I was like, sure. I mean, I need all the practice I can
Yeah.
get. I had like a two gig RAM Mac Tower, and I had to do it like every 5 frames. But I remember I edited something and it was cool, and I was like, hey, like I kind of have a knack for this. And then my sister was like, you should start a business or something. I was like, well, I need to get hands on with my hand with the camera anyway. So I thought I was gonna do more screenwriting, but as I kind of started to the screenwriting is still great, and I think that's an area that I'm trying to work and grow on. But it's time consuming. There's a lot of pre-production, and I remember I was just wanted to go out and just make
Mhm.
something. And then that's when I was like, maybe we could shoot weddings, and that's how it kind of aligns with you. I was just getting hands on, and honestly, I saw some of your stuff, and I was just like, damn, like. Why am I even going to film school? To be honest, like this guy gets composition more than, But then I was also like, but I think I don't know. Maybe if we joined forces, it would be good. But honestly, some of it was just out of desperation too. I was just like, guys, I don't know what's happening, but I somehow booked a wedding, and we had our friend Alan join too, and it was you, me, and Alan, and we were just filming, and I don't know, something natural came from that.
Yeah.
I think weddings were such a great way that we got to learn.
Yeah, I think
You
so
know.
too. I think I don't know, like if you're if you're a young filmmaker, try weddings. I feel like
I know,
weddings they I don't know, they allow you to kind of capture
but
a
it gets a
story. Like the
but it gets a bad rap though.
yeah.
I hear that a lot. Like there's like, oh, I cannot imagine working 8 hours. But in my head, I'm like, if you're gonna work on a set, you're gonna work like 10 hours like
Yeah.
straight. Like I
If
know
you
what you're
if you
gonna
think
say.
about it, it's
Yeah.
it's already a set. It already
Yeah.
has a set, its own design.
Exactly.
Now you're just
Hmm.
being the camera, the filmmaker
That
that's capturing that.
it sounds so cheesy, but when we meet with our clients, we tell them like, look, the great thing. They're like, why do you like doing this if you do commercial and all this other stuff? I was like, because the story's already written. As cheesy as it sounds, you guys have invested all this backstory, all of these relationships, blah blah blah, and you've already secured the venue. If you think about
Yeah.
it, you were the director or you were the producer of everything. We're just kind of come to
Yeah.
document. And again, it goes back to that simplicity kind of a thing because I don't even think our style is really flashy or like trying to be
Mhm.
flashy, but it's more like seeing beauty. Maybe like when we shoot, sometimes we shoot like to a corner because the venue maybe isn't crazy like cinematic looking, but you can if you maybe sometimes draw back everything else, dude, you can find the cinematic
Yeah.
look or the cinematic style or that image that you're looking for, that moment in
Yeah.
there. And honestly, it's crazy. Like how we are taking our art now is how we've always done weddings. If you think about it, just pulling away all the fluff, just letting it be
Yeah.
natural
Huh.
and be
Yeah.
honest. And yeah, and I think it's a great way to learn because you learn how to work on the fly. You kind of have to get it, hopefully in one take. If not,
You're screwed.
you're
You're
screwed.
screwed.
But that's good because you have to know how to like,
Yeah.
have those
Mhm.
conversations and whatnot, and you can make some decent money from
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah. It's been great.
It's been really great. And from there, we broke off and we've been wanting to do C3 Productions for a while, and we are now just on the road to and now it's a legit business, and we're running it. We have this little studio space, and it's just allowed us to grow. And I think for me, I think because we started from like learning filmmaking both like
Hmm.
creatively but almost as a necessity, like because once we were like, oh shit, we can make money, it almost became this thing where we were just constantly doing it and moving away, I guess, in a sense, from the super creative
Yeah.
stuff. I think it's always been there, but I think little by little, you start a business and you have to worry about the business
Yeah.
stuff, and then
Yeah.
there's just all the little things that can eventually kind of sidetrack you. Honestly, I felt like I wasn't really telling the stories that I wanted to tell, or I wasn't honestly like even collaborating and partnering with you, which is something we super like
Hmm.
value is collaboration. Because honestly, Mike's a filmmaker too, and we write scripts together and we bounce ideas. But like he said, his strong suit is like the visuals and like the lighting and the composition. And I felt like, man, we kind of haven't been to a position where you've been able to get the shot that you really really
Yeah.
want and like be intentional about that. I haven't really sat down and wrote and I don't know, tell the stories that I feel like are
Hmm.
important,
Yeah.
and now we've just kind of reassessed and we with COVID going on, we had to pump the brakes a good amount, but we've just been like really itching to just be honest to ourselves. And I'd say, I guess my style right now, what I'm focused on is intentionality. And like you said, slowing down. And we were talking about this
Yeah.
yesterday. You can slow down in the hustle. You can still, everything can still be happening around you. But when you're in here and when this is this time, we're going to allow ourselves to get lost in our
Hmm.
art, in our craft. So I don't know if that describes like me as a filmmaker, but I guess I do more like of some directing and some concept
Hmm.
stuff, but and I work with the camera from time to time, but I really want to grow in the director writer phase.
It's good.
So
It's good.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's who we are. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean that's it. And then and two, again, like we said, we're still a pretty young company. We're still
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah.
What we know now won't probably be the same. I don't know, a year or two from now, so it might be completely changed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think this podcast, obviously as we continue to do the podcast and the show, you guys are going to start to learn about us a little more and not only who we are as filmmakers and our creative journeys, but also who we are as a business. And I don't know, I think that's the exciting part about it is like now we're kind of getting to share that journey with
Hmm.
other people, whoever is even interested at all in that. So I think that's pretty awesome too. But I think that's the point. We want to share that
Yeah,
journey. Yeah.
yeah, and I think documenting it in a different way. This is a new
Hmm.
medium. It's not necessarily filmmaking, although we do have the camera right there, but we have a lot of cool ideas of how we want to translate this, our ideas in this medium. And like we said, we're gonna have some people up here just to kind of share their stories, and we have different creative ways, and different creative
Yeah.
ideas as far as like representing the podcast in the future.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I don't know. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. I mean,
it's gonna
obviously,
be
it
fun.
feels it feels interesting to be like talking in a mic and
Yeah.
headphones and the camera recording us. I mean, it's to be honest, like most of the time I'm behind the camera or we're behind the
Hmm.
camera, you know,
Hmm.
capturing the
Yeah.
thing. But feels interesting and pretty awesome at the same time. Like now the camera's kind of on us and now we're able to share our story. You know,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
crazy thing to think about, huh?
Yeah. It's kind of weird. Yeah. It's I guess kind of uncomfortable, but I think I also like it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think as a filmmaker too, and as a director, like I also want to be able to grow and like know how an actor
Hmm.
is. And not saying I'm I'm being like I'm anything compared to an actor right now, but like it's a fear of mine to be in front of the camera or to like. But like I expect when like I tell an actor to like get a certain performance, but it's like I almost kind of have to experience what it's like to be an actor to know how to tell
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
So I think this would be good for that too.
Actually, yeah. I guess we're
Yeah.
essentially actors.
Acting 101. Yeah, this is this isn't who we really are.
Yeah, we're just this is just a character that we're
We're doing pretty good on time. We're at like 37, 38 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about like the name of the
Yeah,
podcast
we
or
can. Yeah.
anything like that?
Let me start.
Think of it.
Um, so the name of the podcast is the Greenhouse Podcast. Um, it was pretty interesting how we came up with that name, and I think that name because we were discussing a few different names and where we can take this and like well what's the meaning behind this, but I think when it really came down to it, it came down to the core of what where it all started. So we were essentially shooting a wedding for one of our best friends, Esteban. So
He'll be on here from
yeah,
time to time too.
so we were shooting his sister's wedding, but it was pretty far. But Esteban and his parents had gotten an Airbnb out in the area, so Esteban was like, "Well, why don't you guys just crash here? We got an extra room. You guys don't have to be driving home late at night." And after you
Mhm.
guys are done filming, we had a few drinks with them and stuff, and hung out and had some fun. So they're like, "That's probably be the safest thing for you guys." And we're like, "Cool, awesome." And we had already been talking about the podcast this the whole time, and like
Mhm.
we were thinking about names, and then at the end of the night we got there and we were unpacked, and then the backyard of the house
It was awesome,
had
dude.
this like big backyard with like a bunch of trees, a lot of greenery everywhere, and we're just like, yeah, like let's just go back here, just chill, let's just have a conversation. And I think we recorded our first episode there. Like we're just like, you know what? Like let's just record the podcast. Like
Yeah.
we put on our phone and we were just talking, chilling, having a good time. And then we were trying to come up with a name, and we're like, well, what if we call it the greenhouse? Because there's a lot of greenery everywhere. But not only
Yeah.
that, the house we were staying in was a greenhouse. It was a
Yeah.
greenhouse at the end of a cul-de-sac all by itself, and we're just like, we're here, we're shooting our first episode inside of
Yeah.
a greenhouse. Like,
Yeah.
let's call it the greenhouse.
Let's just go with it.
Yeah.
And then me being like super like existential and trying to find deep meaning. I was like, guys, I was like, and then in a greenhouse, you have a seed and then you nurture the seed. But it also was kind of like cool when I thought
Yeah.
about that. One, because we came back to that name over and over, and we were like, I mean, I like it. I just don't know how we're gonna make it connect. And I was like, I'm pretty sure at some point it's like that because it does connect
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I was just like, yeah, it's like, seed, you're gonna grow it, you're gonna nurture it, and then you're gonna take it out, and then what's gonna happen with it next? Almost kind of similar to projects that we do, or just talking with people and like what they've been able to
Mhm.
create and do, and how they've been able to grow. So I think it's all encompassing, but that's when we were just like, let's just do
And
it.
that's how we stuck with it. We're just like, you know what? I think the greenhouse is the move.
It
It's
has to
always
be.
been there. It's
Yeah,
always been there.
yeah,
And eventually we circled back around to it, and we're like, no, this is it. Like, and I think that day we already we already commissioned an artist to create uh
yeah, yeah. The
yeah, the logo
logo.
for us.
Yeah.
We just felt so set on it, and it felt right, and then yeah.
Mike, what would you say? Because obviously people are listening to this because I guess just having some cool conversations and we're talking about, I don't know, they're just looking to maybe feel like they get to know someone in a personal way. I guess what would you say? What would you say drives you, like in life, to create or just to view your life like as a moment? I mean, that seems pretty not that basic. It seems like you live your life like in a pretty intentional way
Um,
or whatever.
man, that's a deep question.
Well,
A
okay,
lot of things.
let me give some background too,
Okay.
because see, it's called C3 because of the three
Mhm.
things that we live by with this business, and we believe in creation or collaboration,
Creation.
creation, and captivation. And that kind of goes to like our wedding brand too, which was Call It Captivation. That was actually the first business. And we'll probably have an episode where we talk about like the history of
Yeah.
that and how we've
Hmm.
been able to grow. But we started from that wedding business and then created this. And we were like, look, like there's a lot of people doing different things and a lot of companies that specialize in different things, but we those are the three things that we value, and we wouldn't necessarily work with a client or create something unless all of those were kind of checked off in the process,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know. So, and that's like what our business chooses to live by. That's like the intention, and that's what I think propels us forward.
Yeah.
So that's where I started thinking about that, and I was like, well, what about you, Mike? Like, what moves you in life?
Man, I think a lot of different things. I feel like the person who I am today is way different from the person I was even 2 weeks ago. But
Hmm.
I feel like I'm constantly evolving. I'm constantly wanting to learn and grow from all the situations in my life. And I think wherever I'm at that point in time in my life, I think that's kind of how I kind of take my creative journey or my motivation to do certain things. And I feel like it's always kind of changing. I feel that, I don't know, something could happen to me today to where now I got a different view on things, and I want to use that as a motivation or a drive to drive me forward and create something different and new. And it could be literally something so simple like, I don't know, the color green. How does the color green
Yeah.
make me feel? Like when I look at the color green, what does it make me think about? And I try to take all these little aspects of my life and I guess use that as a driving force to think of situations or things a little differently and maybe in other people's shoes and see it from their eyes. And I don't know. And I think by doing that and I put myself in all these different situations and I take in all these things and I allow myself to grow and learn, and I then revert that energy back into a visual
Mm.
aspect and I guess how all that stuff makes me feel or what I'm seeing in my head. And I think that's what kind of like drives me. Like it could literally, like I feel, like I said, I feel like I'm in this mode where I'm constantly evolving into a better version of myself to where I want to translate all that energy into like my
Mm.
filmmaking.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like to me, what stands out in that is the fact it's almost like you're intentionally like taking it
Mm-hmm.
in,
Yeah.
everything, and you're essentially kind of recycling. It's like a weird like experience because it's going to you, or it's out there, right? The world's
Mm-hmm.
out there, going through you, and then you're gonna regurgitate it out back into the world. And the funny thing is, like, someone else is gonna see
Yeah.
that, regurgitate it, send it
Yeah.
out.
So I mean, I
Yeah,
guess that's
that's
where I'm
cool.
at right now, and I think that's what drives me and the people in my life and who's important to me and the the way they make me feel. And yeah, it could be
Yeah.
what, and honestly, whether it's a good or a bad thing, like whether it's kind of like a shitty situation that I'm going through, I try to just absorb it, be in that moment, feel it. How does it make me feel? And if I want to create about it, then I'll create about it. And sometimes I go through those modes where sometimes, like, if you look at my Instagram feed, sometimes it's very colorful, a little more orange, and I'll go into like a darker mood. And it's very dark
Yeah.
for a while, like darker
Yeah.
colors, darker vibes, deeper blues. And then I kind of broke out of that and I went into more of like a fall vibe, like oranges, yellows,
Hmm.
like really nice browns. And I kind of stuck in that. So I think I'm constantly changing. I think it's just wherever I'm at in my life, then that's where I try to take motivation or um, motivation or I get, how do I say it?
Inspiration.
Inspiration, a
Mm.
motivation or inspiration from that and that feeling and where I'm at. And
It's kind of weird that we feel the need to reflect that out.
yeah,
You ever think
yeah.
about that? Like, there's not a lot of things that honestly a lot of people go do daily, whether it's a hobby or I mean, 'cause I guess that's what maybe a hobby
Hmm.
is, but like a lot of professions, maybe they don't necessarily, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird the way that like they regurgitate what's in their head,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? And I don't know. I think it's a curse sometimes because being a filmmaker can just like if something is honestly off in your day, sometimes it is really hard.
Yeah.
It's actually really hard to
Actually,
like
yeah. Yeah.
create something, but then also at the same time, it's like, man, we get to we get to do this, you know, and that's also not to say too. I mean, even if filmmaking isn't your profession, but that's just something that you do. It's a hobby or it's an interest that you have. I don't know. I think it has that power to kind of like let you release.
Yeah.
It's weird
Yeah.
that I don't know if you think about it, like you know, like animals. As far as we know, maybe dogs because they're awesome and they're like the closest thing to like feeling a lot of stuff. But like animals just do. They
Yeah.
are. They just do their thing. But like us, it's like we're like, oh, I want to share about how I see the
Yeah.
world or like
Hmm.
about a feeling, and we're super complicated. But then it's also like it's also pretty
Yeah.
beautiful, pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess same question for you. What kind of
Mm.
drives you?
Mm, I guess I don't know. I mean, I try to live my life with like
Hmm.
intentionality. You
Hmm.
know, I think I get pretty bored over like the stuff that really doesn't matter. Like I don't know. I think there's so much in life to be appreciative for that it's kind of worth leaning into that. So I think I try to lean into it in like an honest way. I will say sometimes I probably always try to see things in a good
Hmm.
light, but sometimes you just have to acknowledge things like you said earlier. If you're feeling sad or something's bad, it is what it
Yeah.
is. You know, I think I try to live my life like um, constantly trying to constantly trying to appreciate everything in life and trying to feel everything that I can in life. Obviously, sometimes you have to like you can't take everything onto your shoulders, you
Hmm.
know, with no matter what's happening in the world or in your friend group or your family. But what I can do is I can be present and I can feel it all and I can be aware and I don't know, I can just be
Hmm.
there. So I think I don't know. I guess that motivates me because I feel like that's what's important
Yeah.
in life. It's super simple, and honestly, I feel like more of the world probably needs to be like more like that. I think we all just kind of really realize like some of the problems we worry about aren't as big as they are, or
Yeah.
you know we'll figure it out. And I don't know. I think I always try to not to sound like a hippie, but always just trying to come back to like a center,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, where you just are and you're
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any
No,
sense.
it does. At least to me, it does. I can understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry if all I'm just trying to say is I don't know. I'm just trying to go with,
Go
go
with the
with
flow.
where life goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I feel
Well,
like this has
this
been a
is
pretty good talk. Good first
yeah.
episode.
Until we put it into Premiere Pro or you know see what
Yeah,
the
we're
we
gonna
listen
listen back
to
and be like, oh my god, this
it.
is this.
But no, I think this is cool. Well, like we said at the beginning, you know, we had pre-recorded this twice before, and we just didn't feel like it was in the way we wanted to do it. It didn't feel right, natural with
Yeah,
us.
actually,
But
I think this is the first time we're doing it with actual like a mic setup and going into an
mm,
audio recorder and stuff.
hmm
So that's good. But yeah, it's our first time doing it, and we're trying to learn and figure it out. And I think we're excited for that challenge of trying something different.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think that it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
and just give us grace again. I noticed like you've heard like the phone vibrate a couple times. You heard this. You probably said like too many times, which we probably need
Yeah,
to work
like
on.
is one of those words that's like always gonna be there. Like,
Yeah, like
yeah,
totally. But like we appreciate you guys for listening and for watching this. The next podcast is gonna be awesome.
yeah. We got a pretty awesome guest. Should we tell him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we're gonna have our good friends from Calm Grove.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're a local band here. I think they say they're based from Covina, but
Covina,
anyways,
Ecuador, I think.
yeah, I've known the singer for a couple years, and we're just gonna have some good talks and talk about what you know how they express themselves and what they're
Yeah.
doing, and Be
I think that's
fun.
gonna be
Hopefully,
fun.
you guys stick
Yeah.
around.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. That's gonna be episode 2 with Comgrove, and yeah, we're excited to share that with you guys.
Appreciate you
All right,
guys.
guys, have a good one.
Thanks.